Joining us now, nice enough to join us on the road on a game day in New Jersey. Ryan Hansen, the color analyst for the Arizona Wildcats. And Ryan, before we get into the game tonight, just your thoughts on the big news of Koa Peat and his commitment. Did it on the Pat McAfee show, and just adds to an already unbelievable commitment list that you guys have for 2025.
Well, it is exciting, right? For multiple reasons. One, you get a top 10 player in the country. Anytime you do that, that just proves that the program continues to move forward and is reloading for the future. But this one was an important one, I think, for the program because of Koa Peat being a local kid, an in-state player who has been a state champion 4 years in a row there at Perry High School, just up the road from Tucson. You felt like this one was a homegrown talent. Even though it's not in the city of Tucson, you still felt like he's one of our own in state. So to keep him as a Wildcat, that bodes well for the future of Arizona basketball, but it's exciting because he's grown up in state. Sure.
And Ryan, as big as he is and is agile and is ambidextrous, all the above, who does he remind you of coming out of high school like that?
Well, I mean, physically on the comparisons, I think he's a little bit maybe more skilled Aaron Gordon when I look at his size and what he can do on the floor. He may not be as explosive. Aaron Gordon, obviously, NBA dunk contest runner-up multiple years. That was a robbery that he didn't win that, but that's a show for another day. But physically, he reminds me of that. I think right now he has some growth opportunities with Tommy's help. And I think that's one of the reasons why he chose Arizona is he probably projects like an Aaron Gordon who came into college as a kind of a power forward, if there are such things anymore, but really will be a wing player in the NBA. And so he needs to develop that four-man transitioning to a small forward, kind of like what Carter Bryant has done in the past and what Arizona did with Keyshawn Johnson, with Pella Larson. You look, Tommy's launched a few guys into the NBA recently that have that same type of skill set that are 3-4s on the court. Koa reminds me of those guys.
All right, let's get to Love. He is just playing some great basketball. The storylines, it's unlimited. A North Carolina transfer, what he did to Duke in the 2022 Final Four. But is he the difference maker, or maybe the X factor would be Carter Bryant?
It's hard to label one X factor just because, and I respectfully say this, Duke is very good.
Yeah.
And to win a game in the Sweet 16, you're going to have to play well as a team. You can't just ride the coattails necessarily of one singular player. Very rarely does that happen. So to answer your question, my answer is yes to both. I think Caleb needs to continue to play well. He needs to be efficient as he has been. He needs to defend. He needs to take care of the basketball. Can't have one of those 0 for 7 shooting nights from the 3-point line in the Sweet 16 from your best player. You need your best player to be at his best, and boy, has he been, especially down the stretch against Oregon. Arizona probably doesn't win the Oregon game unless Caleb Love does what he did in that game, where he ripped off 10 straight, kind of took over the second half. Can he do that to the team? Much greater length than Oregon. The driving lanes are going to be shut down a lot quicker with a lot more size and athleticism than what they faced even against Oregon. But there's some really good defenses in the Big 12, guys, and you know this. When you look at all of the metrics, Duke is behind Houston in all of the metrics defensively. So while Duke is amazing, and they may be number 2 defensively, who's number 1? Houston. Has Arizona beaten Houston? No, but they were in the game. So to piggyback to your other questions of who else needs to play well, I would say you almost need contributions across the board. Carter Bryant could be the X factor because he really wasn't ready to play Duke back in November. I think he's ready now. He's evolved. He's developed. He's ready to go.
Ryan Hansen's our guest on the Right Toyota guest line. Well, Houston doesn't have Cooper Flagg or Tyrese Proctor. I will say this, Coach. With the way that you have set this game up, and I believe Arizona does have a chance to pull the upset, but you talked about their length and how active they are defensively. For me, I would like to see some guys try to take the ball to the basket and try to create contact and see if you can get some of those Duke players in some foul trouble, especially in the first half. Am I all wet on this, or are they going to go in a different direction?
No, outstanding analysis as always, Jimmy. When you look at what could be some advantages for Arizona, you have strong guards, Jaden Bradley, KJ Lewis, athletic, strong, can finish at the rim. They do need to create opportunities for Arizona getting downhill on ball screen action or just straight line drives or even in transition. But in addition to that, the Wildcats have two players in the post who really were non-factors back in November who have become really good post players in Tobe Awaka and Henry Vesar. Those two guys need to show out tonight. They cannot get out rebounded. They cannot wilt under the size of Duke. They're going to have to make their presence felt and
4 minutes,
carve out some space with his big body and get Malawatch in some foul trouble. Maybe even get Cooper Flagg, trying to go for a block, and Henry Vesar at 7 feet can pump fake and finish and draw that contact, something we've seen Arizona do consistently in the modern era. This goes back to Lute Olson days. Get to the free throw line, and the season percentages, not how they've shot in the tournament thus far, but the season percentages at the free throw line are staggering. Arizona this year, coming into the NCAA tournament, if the season had ended, would have finished with the second best free throw percentage in the history of the Arizona basketball program. So they're shooting at an all-time clip. So the free throw line, Jimmy, could be a big help to Arizona's chances tonight.
You look at this, Ryan, you talk about Caleb Love leading the score, but you had 5 guys in double figures. And then to your point about crashing the boards, it looked like a concerted effort versus Oregon. But the thing that stands out, which watching the game, was the 13 offensive rebounds, the putback points, if you will. How important is that going to be in this tonight's game?
Very important. And at the press conference yesterday, John Schuyler was asked what are some of the keys, and he rattled off 3 or 4 of them, and one of them was the glass. Some big concerns about Arizona's ability to hit the glass. Duke dominated the glass in the first game, and they've recognized that it is a strength for Arizona, not just defensively controlling the glass and getting out and running, because that's the trigger. A secure defensive rebound is the trigger to Arizona's fast break. On the offensive end, they are able to really hit the glass hard and get those second chance points. If you're not shooting it great, you can create new opportunities. I think the glass is a very important factor. And one personnel question that could be a feather in Duke's cap is Malik Brown, one of their best post defenders. He had 7 rebounds against Arizona in the first game. He could, if he's playing, he has not played the last couple of games due to injury. That gives Duke more weapons in their arsenal to defend Arizona on the glass.
All right, Ryan, last one. This is Rock. Since you're on
2
payroll
minutes, 2
with
minutes.
Jimmy B, he gave me this question to ask you, hoping that I'll get some props for it. But with a 9:39 local tip, what has Coach Lloyd been doing? How long have you guys been there? When are they doing practices? Things like that.
That's a great question. The team stayed the night in Seattle after beating Oregon and flew to Newark directly on Monday. So we did not go home to Tucson. So the Wildcat travel party, team, me, some of the coaches and all the coaches and some of their families, we left Tucson a week ago Wednesday for Seattle and have not returned back. So is that going to be a help because you didn't have that multiple flight and back-to-back days? Is it a hindrance?
1 minute.
At the beautiful Newark area where I'm in the shadows of the MetLife football stadium.
Nice.
In beautiful New Jersey. We've been here since Monday evening. That's a long time until Thursday late, as you're saying. But they have definitely filled their time. They've gone out to dinners. The team bonds quite a bit. This is a film-heavy coaching staff. There's a lot of film work. They love teaching. So there's a lot of coaching opportunities in the hotel to watch film of us, obviously watch film of Duke. They've taken some practices. They just finished their shoot around over at the arena at the Prudential Center in downtown Newark. So they'll be eating pregame meal here momentarily, and then off we go. It's amazing, Rock, as you asked. It feels like we've been here for a month, but now it's like, oh my gosh, we're tipping off in a few short hours.
Oh, we can't wait. Hey, Ryan, the fact that you join us on the road, we really appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. And we hope that this continues so we can talk to you next week as well.
You have no idea how much I would love that. I was on the bench the last time Arizona went to the Final Four in 2001, and it's been way too long, boys.
Wow, how cool is that? That's Ryan Hansen, the color analyst for your Arizona Wildcats as they get ready for Duke tonight, 6:39 here locally. When we come back, we will do our underdog picks for the weekend or for tonight, as well as the Arizona Rattlers. Remember them? They're in the news. It's Rock and Minuch with Jimmy B from Twin Peaks, Deer Valley.
Craving taco